As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with Coach Buchanan
and Crystal. Hello, everyone. Glad to see you this week. It's been a week, but we are getting through the week. Gilbert and I both appear to have had car stuff this week. He buying one, me just trying to pass the darn smog. That's all I want. That's all I want to do is pass the smog. And of course,
I'm going to stop calling it smog and call it a scam test.
Yeah, it is a scam thing, man. So
man,
because they always come up with something, right? So
yeah.
Thank God I paid my registration already, but trying to get this piece together, and so is at a mechanic. And I am sorry, people. As a female, now it may be different for you, Gilbert, but I don't know. In a car dealership, you're having some stresses, and it ain't got nothing to do with your gender. But for me and my gender of a female, it's like we got a blinking sign going, bing, 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 bing. Here she comes, here she comes. She knows nothing about her car, so let's just tell her any old thing, she will fall for it. So always,
when they see you come, they already start scheming. They're going, okay, let's see how many lies we can tell her and have her
right,
believe.
exactly, and then let her make her think it's a panic, and her car won't ever pass smog, and so she needs to buy a whole new car and repair. So that's kind of what I went through. So I had to bring, of course, my brother-in-law. I love it when my brother was alive, because he would come with me, and that did end up. But my brother-in-law, I had to take him with me, because I call in and they're like, okay, you're the thermostat. Okay, thermostat's what, about $300-400? Okay, that's no biggie. And he tells me, oh, well, while we were there, we saw that the housing for your air filter is cracked and it's leaking. I don't see any leaks on my ground.
Leaking out of it.
I was up in Ventura, so of course I couldn't get in a car and drive over there. And I was like, and I said, and what are we talking about that cost? And he's like, $900. $900? How the heck did we get to $900? And I said to him, but it's not leaking, so it's no oil burning or any of that. So how would that affect the smog test? So I get to the next morning, and then here's me. And this is anybody, I guess, that you're taking cars in for repair, right? Mm-hmm. I call him the next morning, early, first thing when they open up, 8:00, right? Yeah. And then the phone is disconnected. Okay, now I just know
their phone is disconnected.
I jump in the shower, and my brother-in-law said, "Can you take me over there?" So we go over there, and he didn't. The guy he shows me the link. I still don't think it. And for those of you that are out there in the car land, and those that are men that work on cars, y'all can tell me differently. I personally don't think a car that's not leaking on the ground, that you don't smell any oil when you're driving the car, is not going to affect the smog. I'm not a mechanic, but that just goes. And then if that wasn't enough, he says, your transmission is going out. What?
It's a scam, man. What they do is they look at the mileage on your car. So they're going, right about this time, it's probably time for her to replace her transmission. But you don't have any problem with the transmission. So it really doesn't need to be replaced.
Right. So I told him today, and I've been trying to get it all morning. I was trying to get it before the show, and of course that's not going to happen. So that throws off my water robe and everything. So that really pisses me off. So then I say to him this morning, so I said, so when is it going to be ready? Obviously you guys close at 4:30. I'm not going to get it today, but I need it tomorrow, because I got Monday, I got to be ready. Yeah. So then I said, He says, yeah, everything is fine. It's none of the lights or sensors are going off except for on ours, the transmission. I
Yeah.
said, since that didn't go off when I got the smog and he gave me what only thing the code was he was having a problem with, put my car back together. I'll pick it up. I'll worry about the transmission later, because even though the car says what it says,
Yeah.
I probably max out about at 6,000 miles a year. That's it. That's it for
Right.
me.
And
And so,
which is good because most people drive anywhere from 12 to 15,000 miles a year, you know, and
right.
you're
So
6.
my transmission shouldn't be, and if it is, I'm gonna have to take it to a guy that I feel much more. I know he won't lie to me
Yeah.
at that point. So that's been my car drama. And
Oh man, I'm
drama
sorry
is
to
just
hear that, co-host.
you just trying to buy your car.
I'm just trying to buy a measly old car, man, so I can get it from point A to point B. You know, it's not like I'm gonna do any major driving or anything. And on top of that, they're trying to sell me a brand new one. Oh, get if it's better if you get a brand new one, you can get either 0% or 1.9%. I was like, get the hell out of here. Why do I need a brand new? I was like, just humor me a little bit. How much is a brand new one? $60,000. But it's gonna be better for you. I said, no, I don't want better. Don't look out for me. Thank you.
And what did you say?
I said,
Um,
I said, heck no.
did you just fall over and like, what the heck is
Yeah.
happening up in here?
I told him, I said, listen, man, you know, I do my research before I come into these places. So
Yes.
don't try to sell me something I'm not trying to buy. Don't sell me a new car. Don't sell me anything from 2021 back to like 2001. You know, don't sell me any of those because I already know what I want. Don't sell me a price over, you know, over 32 grand. You know, don't sell me any of those things because that's not where my budget is. I didn't plan for that. You know, don't tell me it's going to be a good deal. You know, only I can determine if it's a good deal.
Exactly.
Man, they, even though you tell them that, they're still telling you that. Well, you know, I have another one with 65,000 miles on it. I'm going, what am I going to do with that? I want anything 25,000 miles or less. I don't
Right.
want any 65,000 miles. What's wrong with you?
Well, I am going to make your day
Oh,
right
good.
now. So watch this. Oh no, wait a minute. Where are we? Here, I guess. No, that's not where I am. Here. All righty. You ready?
Yes.
And we're gonna share.
Ooh. God, yeah. Oh man. Hey audience, this is a great day for the business zone. We have exceeded 1,000 subscribers.
We're actually at we got our milestone, a griff at 1,000 this morning, and now
This is great,
we
man.
are at literally at 1,006 right now.
Woo wee.
So
You hear that, audience? For those of you who have not subscribed yet, it is your turn to subscribe and add to our list of subscribers, man. We're in the bonus zone, okay? So I want you guys to go ahead, tell your mom. Brandon said, "Let's go." Thank you, Brandon. I want you to tell your mom, tell your uncle, tell your grandma. Tell them to go subscribe to the Business Zone. Just go to YouTube, type the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, and it will pop right up. You click on our channel, and man, oh, see, Brandon's a payday's coming soon.
Payday coming.
That's right,
So
Brandon.
now our next challenge is we halfway there. Now we got to get 4,000 views. So we're a little bit further. We're a little bit off here.
But we're on our way, man. We passed the first milestone.
The first milestone we made, we uploaded. It was 3 milestones. Thank you, Maria. So we 3 milestones. We had to get to 1,000. We got to get to 4,000 views.
Yes.
And then and we've been uploading 3 videos a week. And so
Beautiful.
with the shorts,
Beautiful.
that's bringing that up. If we get to our shorts get to 3 million, then we'll be at monetizing, and then we can really start to fly. So we want to thank
Excellent.
those of you out there
Excellent. And
that have
Brandon Floyd and Maria R. Make sure you guys subscribe today, man. Make sure you're on that list, because what we're doing here is by having these subscriptions and exceeding our first goal, and now we're on the second goal, then we can provide you guys material and information that you need for your business. You know, we do exit strategy. We've got management plan, management strategies. We've got business models, all of those things that we do, guys. Capability statement templates, all of those things you guys can get from us by watching this show, participating in this show, and by subscribing. So by you subscribing, subscription is free. Subscription is free, guys. So you don't have to, you don't have to pay us anything. It's free 99. Okay.
free 99. So I want to thank all of the bodies that did subscribe to us and brought us up to this. And we've had to do some investment so that we can do ads on YouTube. So for those of you, if you're watching, then thank you so much. We so appreciate that. I'm overjoyed right now, Gilbert.
Beautiful, man. And I must say, guys, my co-host had put in a lot of work on this, man. She put in a lot of work night and day, man. She's been up doing her thing, making sure that we get to that. Brandon said workshops are A1. Oh yeah, for
Right.
sure, Brandon.
And that's it, Gilbert. So we don't just come, obviously we're coaches, so we don't come here and just talk about current events, which we do talk about, but we
Right.
also give you workable information, just like we do in our workshops, that you can take
Yes.
away and apply to your business. If you guys caught the show last week, we had Valerie Dufix on from
Oh
the
yes.
Pottery Capital Group, and she was
Yes.
given some prime information on how to get capital and what her company does, far as really embraces you from a I called it a connoisseur, a kind of what do you very hands
Oh,
on
like a concierge, right? She provide a
concierge, right?
concierge service. Yes.
Yeah, they don't want just to see your financials. They want to know your story, right? They want to know the history of your company. They
So they
want to
can
know where,
understand you.
right. And that's different from a bank. So
Yeah.
go over to our YouTube channel while you're there, hit that subscribe button, but listen to her. Oh my God, she was just so full of lots of wisdom. Gilbert did a segment there talking about lines of credit versus loans when you're first starting to acquire debt, and why that's important, especially for those of you that are doing contractual type of business. So
Yeah.
that's what we do here at the Business Zone. We are very committed to the business community, making sure that you have all the tools that you need to be successful.
And Brandon, yes, we are going to make you our protege, okay? We are going to make you our protege. So I'm going to put my phone number and email in the chat, Brandon, and even the same extended to Maria as well. If any of you guys would like to be a protege of ours and have us mentor you, you let us know, because together each of us have about 30 years of experience in the industry doing a variety of different services, designing systems, administering programs, helping small businesses. I have helped small businesses secured over $100 million in government contracts, guys. So I'm not playing. I'm here to help you guys. I want to get you guys ready. My co-host and we want to get you guys ready for the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup that's coming up in 2026. And we also want to help you get ready so you can participate in the 2028 Olympics. You guys should be there promoting and marketing your goods and services so you can be a part of that. the Olympics, they've got a budget of $5 billion, $5 billion. Okay, so I want to make sure that you guys get a piece of that. So yeah, reach out to us. And my co-host, she does bookkeeping and accounting. So of course, all small businesses, you need to have your books in order. And if you don't know how to do it, or if you want to do it but you're not sure if you're in compliance, make sure you reach out to my co-host. She'll schedule a one-on-one with you. She'll take a look at your system and see how you're set up. And I'm not going to tell you much about how she does what she does, but I want you guys to schedule that meeting with her and just see how it goes, because she is just amazing as to how she does this. She looks at she can look at your financials and tell you what your story is. So it's like she's one of those clairvoyant
I
people.
am clairvoyant in the financial strategist place. Yes, but I can help you. I can show you where you've been and where you should be going and how you should get there.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I was doing a workshop with one of the organizations that I work for, and everybody was just all enthused, and I said, like, I don't know how you are able to help me just clear the way and feel comfortable with financials. And I told him I put the sexy back in accounting. And why? Because accounting is how you count your money, man. I
That's
don't know
right,
how much
man.
sexy it can get than being able to count the money before you even get it in your bank account.
That's right, man. And the saying, he who knows how to count his own money gets to keep it. If
Gets
you
to
don't know
keep
how to
it.
count your money, guess what? Uncle Sam comes in, he takes a large trunk. You have certain other people come in, they take chunks out of it. Before you know it, you have nothing left. So yeah,
Right,
you
exactly.
got to
And
know
you
your money.
also, if you don't know how your money's coming in and going out, you also tend to make some very bad decisions
Yes.
when it, and so that's part of it, is not necessarily just Uncle Sam, but making the best decisions for your business, to make sure that you are, you know, exactly what decision is best for your business for the time frame that you're in. Maria said, yes, I've loved to partner with you, and I've participated in Crystal's workshops and talked about launching an HR consulting. Oh, I know. I remember you, Maria. Hi,
Oh, for sure, Maria. That's what we do here, Maria. We love it when we bring in small businesses. We look at your plan. We help you to set it up the way you want it to be, with all the training wheels in there, so that you stay on course. And then once you get to the point of getting contract opportunities, oh man, we feel so proud about you. It's like having your young kids graduating from school. You
Right,
feel like a
exactly.
proud parent.
Yes, I feel like a proud parent every time I here's when I feel like a proud parent. Every time my client can send to their accountant in February or March that their financial, so that they can get, or January, so that they
Yeah,
can get they're on time and on point
yeah,
for processing their taxes, as
yes,
opposed to waiting and having to do extensions. Some people have to do extensions, just the nature of the game,
exactly.
but they have an idea. But most important, I love it when people have done their financials, we've reviewed it all year long, and then at the end of the year, when we come back to do our final in the year end, or very beginning at the first of the year review, they have reached their goals. Oh my God, I'm just as excited for them, and they're of course over the top. And so that's the importance of what I do, what Gilbert does. And so in a very holistic way, we embrace
Yeah,
you from all aspects of doing business. But you know, we love what we do, and we love working with you guys. So I want to thank Brandon and Maria for joining us today. So today we have a topic. Generally, we're talking contract, but we're going to go a little bit more specific today.
yeah,
This is really more Gilbert's space. And I guess I do work in this space a little bit, but not to the extent that Gilbert does. Gilbert actually is the chairman of a number of organizations that market and support the Hispanic population. And so I thought this would be a great show today. So that's what we're going to be talking about. mastering the Hispanic market and what that looks like. And not just for those of us that like to do business with them, but also for them liking to do business with the entire Hispanic diaspora, which is many countries and different cultural requirements. And so Gilbert has been in this. You've been working with the Hispanic population for how long?
Man, we've been doing this since 1999, when I was at the mayor's office, city of Los Angeles. So ever since then, it's like I've been building and building and building and building until now, and we just keep doing it. So
Right. So he's been working in that area previously. I'm kind of on the when I started working with the New Women's Business Center, I started then having more clients that were in the Hispanic population generally
yeah.
because I'm in the Black community. That's generally who my clients are. But when it comes to business, everybody's needs are the same. It's just
Hmm.
understanding how to do business with different, just like different target markets, right? You have to
Yeah.
market to younger people different than you have to market to the 50 plus crowd or the 60 plus crowd.
All right.
So every decade that you're marketing to, and there's a difference to doing business with men and marketing and speaking the language of men and speaking the language of women. So it's pretty much the same thing, I think. But in a country that we have, and we're in the middle of an election year, and so many things seems to be um, targeted to one's ethnicity. One of the things I think, Gilbert, we are both of the essence that as an entrepreneur and a business owner,
Yeah.
these are exactly the same.
Right. Right. That is true.
Yeah, so we wanted to kind of jump into that. And so if you guys that are on listening and you have input, you can throw it in the chat and whichever platform you're on. If you're on our Facebook page, if you're on our YouTube page, if you're in LinkedIn, we are you can type it in the Actually, I knew about New. I saw you on their newsletter. Yes, I was working with them for a while. I've taken a little hiatus because I just needed to take. Hi, Andrea. I needed to take some time for me, and so I'm on a break for right now. But I will be back. But you can catch me in some other places that I work. But here for sure, every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, I am here.
That's right. That's right. Every Friday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
I am here. I am here. So we're going to kind of dive in here, Gilbert. So I'll kind of kick it off, and anyone that has questions or what have you, just throw it out there. I was doing a little research, and I discovered in my research that the Hispanic American entrepreneur has founded businesses to serve their own community and their surrounding communities, including barbershop, beauty salons, restaurants, catering companies, hotels, newspapers, and other outlets. A lot as they're in the fashion industry, definitely in the retail industry, in the beauty industry, and the demographics is strongly represented in construction, accommodations, technology industries, and it this is through the Library of Congress. And the Latin-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of the U.S. economy, increasing about 34% in the past decade, according to the Stanford Business School.
That is true. That is true. So, folks, before I get started, I want to give you a little bit about my background. So, you have an idea where I'm coming from, why we're doing this. So, currently, I'm the procurement chairman for the Hispanic Coalition of Small Business in the Inland Empire in San Bernardino County, and we've got quite a bit of small businesses, small and micro businesses, registered as members with that organization. I've been a part of many other Latino organizations. As a matter of fact, I was a procurement chair also for the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce. And under that tutelage, I was able to travel the whole state of California helping Latino businesses becoming business ready, contract ready, and loan ready. Okay. So I travel from here in Los Angeles, Pasadena, Alhambra, and I would go to San Diego, or I would go north to Sonoma, Sacramento. I even went to wine country, co-host.
Wow.
I even went to wine country, and you'd be surprised there are Hispanics there too. Little towns where the population is about 5,000. You've got Hispanics there. So my job was to help prepare them to become contract ready, business ready, and loan ready. So we teach them how to prepare their capability statement, how to do statement of qualifications, how to bid on contract opportunities. And with that, I had my platform that I had developed called SmallBizPro, where they can go in and they can store their documents in it. So any document they needed, they could have just used their phone to access their smartphone to access the platform, which is a cloud-based platform. They can access a platform and pop up all of their documents they need. If you need your business license, you need your business plan, if you need your capability statement, if you're a corporation or an LLC and you need your statement of information or your article of incorporation or article of organization, all of that was in the system because the system is structured. The system tells you what documents you need to run the business. You see? So even if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what documents you need, when you go to the system, there's some tiles right in your face. And instead of folders, you got tiles with colors and names on it and all of that, which tells you what you need to have. Because if the tile doesn't have a green banner at the bottom, that means there's no documents in it and you need to upload your documents. So that's how you know what you need to have. So all of those things, we have business model that we do. You've got your business plan. We do different classes like your financials and all of that will be uploaded in there as well. Balance sheet, uh, profit and loss, your tax returns, receipts, invoices, all of those things. You upload it so you can access it. Even your bio. I remember I was in Costco one time, co-host. I was
Uh-huh.
shopping at Costco's and someone from a chamber called me up. Hey, Gilbert, I would like you to present for us tomorrow, but would like to have your bio so we can put that information on our flyer and website and we can promote you. So I said, sure, not a problem. So I just took my phone and just logged into the platform, and bam, I emailed him the bio through the system because the system automatically emails those things for you. You just tell it what, go to the file, and
Mm-hmm.
bam, it send it to them. And in 6 seconds, they had it. They're going, what? How do you do this? I thought you were in Costco. I said, man, that's how we do it. That's how we do. So they were so impressed about that. But going back to me traveling throughout the whole state of California, helping small businesses, it was a joy to do that because I could see the look in the small Latino businesses' eyes. They would say, wow, no one has ever taught us these things. No one really come around and show us how to do capability statement, how to be contract ready, how to look for contracts, how to
Mm.
become certified. No one tells them those things. So when I was doing that for them, they were so appreciative. And as a result of that, the LA Business Journal and along with what's the name of the bank? I can't think of the bank, but they teamed up and decided to give me an award as
Oh, wow.
oh yeah, Latino Business Advocate of the Year award. And I wasn't the only one in the room. There was over 600 of us, right? Most of them,
Wow.
yeah, most of them were Latino consultants, but they chose me because of what I was doing for the Latino businesses, helping them to become contract ready, helping them with their back office, their capability statements, and all of that, show them how to bid. So they really appreciated. I didn't even know, They just send me an email from the LA Business Journal. They said, hey, we'd like to have you at this hotel on this day, this time. So, oh, why? What is this for? Oh, we're going to be recognizing some people. We just want you to be there to support these people. I didn't know I was supporting myself. I didn't know that's what it was about. So
That's
it
wonderful.
was amazing. I still have I have the photos and everything, right? I even have my award and everything, right? So as a result of that, I was able to help these businesses secure contracts. So many of them, they were able to obtain contracts. And while doing that co-host, I learned that working with Latino businesses is a little different than working with African Americans or other ethnicities, because the Latino culture is a lot different than the African American, the Asians, the Native American, those types of things. Because Latinos, they operate in a cluster, like family.
Okay.
So they support each other that way. So when you
Mm-hmm.
go to meet with a Latino business, I didn't know this. I learned this, the hard way.
Well, in some
But
of the research that I did, it was like you got to learn how to
yes,
speak the language, not
yes,
necessarily the Spanish language, but the
exactly.
language of the culture. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, yes. So not only, do you need to learn the Spanish language, so you can communicate, but also you got to learn certain idiosyncrasies. Like, for example, when you go to a meeting, and you've got maybe the president and you got other members of the staff there, you got to bring some food.
Oh, okay.
You got to bring some food. You got to bring some, whether you want to bring pastel, they call that's a cake. They call that
Okay.
pastel.
Okay.
Or you bring some pan dulce, those are like little pastries or cookies, those types of things. You bring that, you bring some coffee, all of that stuff. Make it a little festivity, right? I didn't know that.
Okay.
I
You
didn't
didn't
know
know
that.
that, huh?
Or you can bring sandwiches. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Bring
Okay.
sandwiches. It's kind of like a lunch and learn type thing. So I learned that. And you are received much more fondly than if you didn't do that at all. If you show up with your bare hands, like, oh man, what the heck's wrong with this dude?
Okay.
When do we eat?
So it's part the hospitality is
Yes,
part of that,
yes,
and just like
yes,
coming to someone's home, right? I mean, you
exactly.
wouldn't come home technically to a person's home empty-handed. So if you're coming to a meeting, it's kind of I guess in that culture, and I had a friend. Yeah, I have several friends that Cuban and Afro Hispanics,
Yeah.
and very important to them to break bread with you. That is
Hmm.
how that's how they start to feel comfortable with you,
Yes.
right? That if they're
Yes.
eating with you, and I think many cultures are like that.
Oh,
I'm going
yes.
to sit down, and I know in the Korean culture, the Chinese, the
The
Asian cultures,
Japanese.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are very much like that. If we're
Yes.
going to break bread
Gotta
together,
break bread, man. Gotta break
then
bread.
then that's the first line of learning, getting to know each other, right?
Yes.
Is being
Yeah.
able to be in a social environment. So
Because
understanding the culture.
if you're taking on a Latino or a Latina as a client, you want to be able to break bread, have lunch, you talk about them, their company, their business, maybe their background a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because you got to learn about them, know who they are, and they want to know that about you too. Because what we're doing here, we're kind of sizing up each other to see, hey, do we want to get involved with each other here on a business level? Am I getting involved with a criminal, or am I getting involved with somebody I can trust?
Right, right,
So that's how that is. So when you break bread with folks like that, it's it kind of bring you closer together. So that's the
right.
first thing I learned. So
Okay.
then after that, when you start inquiring about the business, the background, their core competencies, the service offerings, the pain that they're solving in the marketplace, and all of that, then they're more open to tell you. And then then the icing on the cake is when you ask them, about their story. Tell me your story. How did you start this business? That part right there, oh man, that's amazing, because that's when people are excited to tell you how they got started, why they got started. Like many of us, like you and I, co-host, many of the new entrepreneurs that we got them from the pandemic, the 2020 shutdown,
Right.
right after that, because many women were not going back to work. They stayed home. They said, we're not going back to work. They treat us like dogs there at work,
Right.
and during the pandemic, we stayed home with our family. We see that our family loved us. We're not going back to work for the man,
Right.
you know. So most of those women, they started their own business. They become entrepreneurs. So when we're asking them about their story, they tell us that. They say, well, I started, during the pandemic because these things were happening, and we found out that our family really loved and appreciated us being home, and and this was good for us because it
Right.
it kind of offset certain barriers. So stories are good to know. Stories are good.
Yeah, I know when I first meet clients, I want to know their story in the sense what was the inspiration behind their business, right? Because it
Yes.
really gives me a insight into who they are and how passionate and dedicated they are to the business that they're launching or they
Yeah.
are actually being in, and where they are in the growth of that business, right? So
Yes.
it does tell you. So I think in any aspect, understanding who you're doing business with, but really, why are they doing what they do, right?
Right. Right.
I think that's so important because for me, the success and how successful you're going to be as a business owner is how passionate you are about
Right.
being in business, right?
Right. Right. So
Because
I
those
see
seem
Maria just put a little message here. She said, "That's awesome, Gilbert. Latino entrepreneurs are in need of business education, and every contribution is appreciated. Often, I share my HR knowledge with Latino business owners, and it is well received." That is true, man, because they want to feel they want to feel included. They want to feel appreciated. They want to feel like they've got contributions to the marketplace. So if we're not asking them things, or we're not helping them to excel, then
right.
it's like, why are we here? We're consultants, we're coaches. This is what we're supposed to be doing. So yes, Maria, that's great. Love it. Love that you're doing.
And I found also that because a lot of them are smaller mom and pop businesses that I work
Mm-hmm.
with,
Mm-hmm.
and what happens in both Latino businesses as well as in African American businesses or other business owners is that they're working in their business, not
Yeah.
necessarily working on their business. And
Right.
when you take that time out with them to help break it down and explain to them why it's so important to step back from working in the business and put in systems
Yeah.
that will give them more time to really think about the growth of their business is
Mm-hmm.
well received.
Yeah.
When I worked for, I did workshops and classes for a new women's business center for about 4 years,
Yeah.
and that's what that's the feedback that I would get. Just taking time, even in the very beginning of a webinar, and going, okay, tell me about your business, right? Before I
Yeah.
start telling you what I'm gonna teach you, I
Yeah.
need to know where you are, what type of business, so then that I can make sure that in my presentation I'm
Yeah.
including you. So when you walk away from this presentation, there's value in it for you to take back to your business and implement in that
Right.
business.
And Latino entrepreneurs all also want to know that you make the extra effort to learn a little bit about their language,
Right,
understand certain words, what it means, and the history of it. So when you're relating to them, they can see that you understand, so you'll get more of their time that way, more of their respect. So those are key things that as consultants and coaches, we really need to look. And not only Latinos, any other culture, we
right,
really need to do that. I have, me, co-host, I have my KYP,
uh
knowing your
huh,
personnel assessment. that I
Right.
do. It's like a personality profile assessment, but it was just amazing. I use that to learn a lot more about the folks that I'm interfacing with, whether they're a client, whether they're a strategic partner, whether they're an associate. And it's just so amazing that you learn what are red flags to certain people, what are certain blind spots, what are some of the
Mm-hmm.
things to avoid,
Mm-hmm.
and how to correct certain things, how to communicate the way that, because there are four options that we use to communicate with folks, right? So you got to find out which one of those four works best for the client or an associate or a strategic partner.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And it starts at the very, very beginning. So
Yeah.
one of the things that Gilbert, that when I was doing my research, that the Latino market makes up 1/5 of the US
Mm-hmm.
population. And so if we're looking to grow our business, we have to be more expansive, right?
Yes.
So be able to, because products, if everyone loves certain foods, and there's so many different countries that fall under the term Hispanic. And so if
Mm-hmm.
you're into Mexican food, and you're in Dominican food, and then those are wonderful restaurants out there that you can
Yeah.
participate, you actually
Right.
can go and have dinner at.
Yeah.
And for us, that's usually a marketplace that they really need our assistance in,
Yes.
because of the fact that they're working hard in their businesses
Mm-hmm.
as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of times they're family owned business, so it's not like you can step away from the
Yeah.
business.
And usually, when I meet or coach some of those small businesses, I show them how they can go about attracting more customers and even new customers just by what they currently have, because they have their products, they're providing services, but they're probably not getting enough customers through the door.
Mm,
So one of the things that we'll do is, show them how to give gift of service certificates to folks.
mm,
Like if you're running a restaurant, you're a Latina and you're running a restaurant, you can provide gift of service certificates to folks where they come in, they purchase a meal, they may get half price off on the next meal, or a second meal.
mm-hmm,
Or, you can say, hey, on this person's birthday, they can come in and eat free. Of course, there's a certain limit, the dollar
mm-hmm.
amount. So there are different ways that they can bring folks in, and when we discuss that as a consultant or as a coach, that really helps them, because they may not be even looking at that. Now,
Right.
since we're talking about how to navigate the marketplace and help Latinos to be successful. Now, some of the first things that we want to make sure Latinos do is to identify which organization or which market sector they want to go after. So, let's say you provide services.
Mm-hmm,
So let's say you do bookkeeping, co-host, and
mm-hmm,
you're
mm-hmm,
Latina.
mm-hmm,
So part of what you'd want to do is to identify service organizations such as Vermont Slauson, the Los Angeles Urban League, New Women's Business Center, AMPAC. Those are organizations that utilize that kind of service. So you would want to market to those organizations and say, hey, we provide these types of services to small and micro businesses. How can I join your team to help your businesses become more competent, or become business ready, contract ready, or funding ready? And they'll tell you, they'll work with you. So that's a good way to increase your level of service offerings and increase the customer base. Now, also, if you want to go government, so then you may want to look at the city of Los Angeles, the county of Los Angeles, LA Metro. You may want to look at Orange County Transportation Authority. You may want to look at those organizations to see, okay, how can my bookkeeping service or accounting benefit other small businesses? those guys usually have a large handful of small businesses coming in to get certified or to do business with them, but their accounting is out of whack.
Right, right,
It's not up to date, it's not structured. People are keeping records in the back of the van, in shoe boxes. So that's where they would need someone like you, co-host, to come in and help to structure and organize those businesses, so they can, in turn, when they submit their reports to an LA Metro or OCTA or the county, then their paperwork will be in order. The numbers will look good because they understand what balance sheet and profit and loss statements are. They understand what statement of cash flow is, and with Small Biz Pro, it tells them the different ratios that they need to have
right.
and how to calculate those ratios. So, and the system automatically calculates those ratios for them. So it's just an amazing way of doing that. So that's the first part. The second part is they may need to get certified, become government certified to do business with those
Mm-hmm.
agencies, like the
Mm-hmm.
LA Metro, City of Los Angeles, County of Los Angeles, Orange County Transportation Authority, the county, the state of California, DGS. They might be looking for those services. So by you being ready, having a capability statement and all of those types of things, get together with your business coach or your consultant every now and again, do a little elevator pitch,
Mm-hmm.
practice,
Mm-hmm.
practice your pitch, and don't make it any longer than, say, 20 to 30 seconds, because sometimes those folks don't have time. They don't want to hear the
Right,
whole
and
story.
right, and what did they? When I was first went to business school, the first thing they said is when you're doing that 30-second pitch, more or no more than 60 seconds, you want to give them just enough but exciting and making it where they want to ask you for more. So
Exactly.
give them like a appetizer, the
Right.
beginning of a meal,
Right.
and then let them say, "Hey, I want the whole meal. When can we sit down and have that
That's right.
conversation?" So
Right.
that should be, so you want to be able to develop that before, and it doesn't matter whether you're what ethnicity you are.
Yeah,
This is just the basics of business, right?
that's
But
good.
there are certain things in business culturally that we all need in order to feel comfortable to do business with each other,
Right. Right.
right? So
Yeah.
that's what's important. And but I do think if we're not trying to expand our horizons to do business with other ethnicities and other groups, we're limiting our opportunities
Yes.
for growth.
Yes. Yes. And I totally agree with that, co-host. And here's why. Currently, currently, there's about 12 to 15% of the population that are African American, blacks, etc., etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
12 to 15%. But you have 39% that are Hispanics or Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
39%. Now, if you add those two together, right? You
Yeah.
add the Hispanics and the blacks, add them together. One is 12 to 15%, one is 39%. You are at 50, anywhere from 51 to 54% right there.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's how I'm looking at this. And I'm hoping other small businesses are looking at that too. That if you look to collaborate with the other ethnicities like the Hispanics, Latinos, that type of thing,
Mm-hmm.
then that may even help to enhance your position in the marketplace.
Exactly. And within the black community, is kind of interesting, and you're from the islands, and so we know that as when we talk about the transatlantic trades um transatlantic trade, a lot of the individuals that came from Africa, actually there were the ships were Portuguese, they were Spaniards, they were the French, they were the British,
Dutch.
the Dutch, and so forth and so on, right? So
Yeah.
the cultures in the Caribbean the Caribbean
Yeah.
is they're very similar to other cultures, right? Because
Right.
one, if you happen to have the colonizers were Spanish, then that's what how you've lived, right? You
Yeah.
the Spanish culture, but however, your origin may have come from Africa.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
so when I always marvel, like if you're going to a Hispanic restaurant, either from the Dominican or you're going to Panama from Panama, Panamanians, or
Our Costa Rican.
Costa Rica, Cuba, El
Yeah.
Salvador, Nicaragua, all of those foods, there are overlaps of food,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
when you go over into the African diaspora, it's the same thing, right? You
Yeah.
know, they
Yeah.
do the yuca and what's it? My girlfriend is the mocha. All of that is from. We're all sharing really the same culture.
Right.
To be
Right.
quite honest, we just
Uh-huh.
have been there have been outside
Influences.
influences that have made us think we're different, and we're not.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And we're
know. I
we're
know.
really not.
Yeah. I love to see things through first before I take other people's advice on it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I do think that you're missing out on some opportunities, and vice versa.
Yeah.
I think that one um, that we all can learn from one another, and that's very important. And what you're talking about, Gilbert, and we've talked about this so many times on
Yeah.
being able to collaborate together, expand our resources, and be able to have a bigger voice in this country
Oh, for
that we're
sure. For
living in.
sure. For
Yeah, there's
sure.
no reason why we shouldn't, because there's so many elements of our cultures that overlap,
Yeah.
and
It's
if we get,
amazing. It's
it is,
amazing.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's amazing. It is amazing. So we want to use our expertise, our knowledge, our awareness, and get the Latino groups together. Brandon says just hard work. Yes, it is. It is really hard work. And, because we're all dedicated to doing these things and bring about results, it's like we're going to keep doing it because I've been doing this for 30 years. My co-host's been doing this for 30 years. We've been doing this for a long time, and we know it's hard, but it just gives us that great joy to see the outcomes, the results. So, yeah, we're going to keep doing it.
And one of the things that I find when Brandon talks about hard work, the one thing I see when I see people that have come from other countries and countries that maybe not as affluent as the United States,
Yeah.
what they put in to their businesses, they may not have all of the knowledge, but the hard
Mhm.
work that goes
Yeah.
into it,
Yeah.
the commitment that goes into it,
Oh, yeah.
raising their children in a foreign land with sometimes no relatives. I was last year when I went to Florida for a meeting. I was one of the guys that was driving Uber that picked us up to take us out to eat.
Hmm.
This man had he was from Venezuela. He walked from Venezuela all the way through and up through Mexico to get
What?
to the United States.
He walked?
They walked.
Oh, my Lord.
And I was trying to get a visual, like, wow.
That is amazing, man, because Venezuela is right there on the cusp of South America, right? It's right there.
Right.
So to walk from there, you got to walk all the way up to the Latin American coast and switch over there to Mexico. That's a long trek, man.
That's a lot. In fact, and the
Yeah,
danger you were encountering. So just
yeah,
that to go
that,
from one country on your feet
yeah,
and come through from there to here
it's amazing.
for because you're looking for a better life
Yeah,
and opportunities that are not presented in the countries that you're in, and then to get here And I know we have to work from a bootstrap kind of place, but
Yeah.
how do you work from a bootstrap place where you don't even know the language?
Right. That's true.
So that's what I've seen. People from other countries that one, they embrace the fact that, and I asked them, I said, whoa, there was a lot of countries between Venezuela and here.
Yeah.
Why here? And he
They
said,
have their
because
targets, man.
there are opportunities. The freedom that we have
Yeah.
in this country is unlike any other country in the world.
That's
Is
right.
that the freedoms that we have
Yeah.
here? And so that's what makes a big difference, and that's why they make those sacrifices and they work very hard to get here.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
Brandon said black communities, posters in
oh, that's how
Boston.
he marketed his business. So Brandon has a company called Floyd Sweet Chicken, and
Oh,
he had said earlier in his when he was chatting over here that he has embraced the Hispanic population and has embraced his company
excellent.
because of the fact that his food is well seasoned. And
Oh,
so they come. So Brandon, the only thing I don't know is where he's located because I
I was
actually
just gonna
don't.
ask that question.
So
I
I don't
was
know where
just
Brandon. I'm following him now on Instagram, and the pictures are off the chain. They're mouth watering, actually. And so I guess
shout out to Brandon Floyd's Sweet Chicken. It's called Floyd's Sweet Chicken. So I want to really check that out, Brandon. Text in the chat where you're located. Give us an address so we can put it out there so more folks can come check out your food because you mentioned sweet chicken. So I want to check that out and see how sweet it is.
so. And this is how Brandon advertises. He posters in front of parks, wheat shops. That's a
Right.
good place to do if you have a restaurant.
Yeah.
Back on the block type of pop-ups and being in the neighborhood and having a product that hits the taste buds different. Now, one of the things, excellent marketing strategies, Brandon. One of the things that I do know is that when we're running a business, we do have to really focus on good customer service, and the food needs to be consistent. So if I come in the first time and the second and the third and the fourth time, it needs to be the same. And then and the customer service is that word of mouth, right? Because
Yeah.
if I have a great time, and I tend to have that influence within my network, if I enjoy food, and I am definitely going to come back and tell everyone what and how I enjoyed that food, and that they should definitely go and give it a shot and give it a try because
Yeah.
that's really for me. And I don't know how about you, Gilbert. And I guess it is the same because you were saying people actually all of a sudden you found you were being honored, and the reason you were being honored because someone told them about
Yeah.
you, or
Yeah.
you have your style of teaching had succeeded your boundaries, right,
Yeah.
without you
Yeah.
doing anything. And sometimes that's all marketing is
That's true.
people talking about you, and you don't even know they're talking about you. You just know that you just know all of a sudden you're starting getting phone calls from people saying, hey, so and so told me about you. And when you've been in business for a while, I think that's an honor when someone call you and tell you one of their clients or one of their friends said that they were a client of yours, and we should try you out.
Yeah, that is so true. I gotta give a shout out to a gentleman named Miguel, all right?
Okay.
So you know him, Crystal, because he said he was in one of your class and that's how he met you, and you referred him to me to
Oh,
get
okay.
certified, right?
Yes.
So that was like 2 3 years ago.
Ah,
And
okay.
then he called me out of the blue. And see, that's how I get many of my customers, right? He called me out of the blue and said, hey, I was in one of your workshops many years ago and I'm ready to do business now. I'm ready to work with you. I said, wait a second, what happened? Who are you? He said, "This is my name and this is my company name, and I know Crystal, and Crystal referred me to you." So I said, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool." So I I invited him. I get him set up into the platform, so he's in the platform,
Okay.
and he's just doing an amazing job. I showed him where he can get some grants and all of that in Small Biz Pro. So he was excited about it, but he had a lot of praise for you, man. He said, you really held his hand and walked him through the process.
Yeah, yeah. I always, when I'm in my classes, you of course are always a referral, and especially because you're good at what you do, and
Right.
there's not too many people out there that do it the way you do. It's not, and I was just telling someone the other day about you, Gilbert.
Yeah.
And I was saying, they were saying, we need someone to talk about, add to our group to who knows about certification or who can talk about certification. I said, no, it's more than just talk about certification because everybody can talk about it.
Exactly.
It's all the difference is how it works. You've sat
Yes.
on both sides, and that's usually what I tell someone that when
Yeah.
he was at Metro in the
Hmm.
city of Los Angeles, he was the one developing because you were part of the ramp or the BAMP or
Right.
whatever,
Right.
which one,
Right.
whatever that was, the
Ramp.
setup of ramp, right? The setup
Yeah.
of so you understand it from not just the procurement side,
Yes.
from the contractor side. And so when you bring that together, you know exactly what the metros of this world are looking for.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And
Right.
being on the inside with LAUSD and LACCD also helps.
Right. So that's the difference to when they come to you. So yeah, they can go anywhere. They can go to
Right.
the SBA. They can because you will get the information on what you need to do to sign up,
Yes,
but
yeah,
you're not going to get the inside once you get in there. And then also the other nuances that you have on how to respond to the RFPs and what you need to be contract ready.
yes, yes.
And
I
so that's the
totally agree.
difference. So that's why I have no problem recommending you.
Thank you, co-host. And the same thing here, same thing there. I love to refer people to you because I know they'll be taken care of, they'll be properly guided. You will go above and beyond what you need to do with them, and when they get done, they recognize you or they do whatever they do. But
Hmm.
it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And so when we talk, so when you go to another, if you're going to expand your market to other cultures, guys, you have to do your homework. You have to
Yeah.
understand who the people are, what um what they need in order to feel comfortable with you in being buying your products or hiring you in for your services. This is very important. But I think that those of us that are out there, we are limiting ourselves if we're not embracing the ability to do business with everyone.
Right, right, right. Because
Yeah.
that can only increase the revenues and increase your possibility of teaming up with someone maybe from a different state or a different region. You know,
Hmm.
that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you so since 19 something, you've been working in that space.
Oh yeah, since 1992. 1992. So I know a lot of people were born in 1992.
You are a young
Uh,
prodigy.
I'm going, man, I've been working during that time. It's like I was on the railroad working. I was help building the railroad.
Oh, welcome, L Cool J. We glad to have you. He's talking about Brandon Ford. Brandon got a little he got a following there. 4 seasons of business. He does weddings,
Beautiful.
graduations, funerals, birthdays. You will always
Oh,
make money.
funerals.
Yep, on these
Man,
days.
tell us some more about that funeral, man, because this is good. Yeah, one of the first black men to become a millionaire. He started out running funeral homes,
He
taking
did.
care. yeah, taking care of the blacks, the black ex-slaves back
Uh-huh.
in the day. And when they die, he just come and take care of everything. He
Yeah.
measured the plot and make sure
Yeah, he he
everything.
provided the funeral services, and then he
Yeah,
realized that they had to have this. They had to have the plots already, so
right.
he also went into the insurance business. So, who we're speaking of, guys, is A.G. Gaston.
Yes.
He's called. There's a book out there called The Black Titans, and it
Hmm.
talks about how a couple of years out of slavery, A.G. Gaston became a multimillionaire. And
And
he gave back.
I believe that was 1867 to be exact, because uh, the, the 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 slavery ended 1865, and in 2 years that man was on his way to becoming a millionaire.
And that's the thing. When we think about us as people, but we go back and look at our ancestors, man, they hear you 2 years out of slavery, and you truly had no resources. There was no
Right.
SBA for you. You took your ingenuity and recognize that there were problems to be solved, and you created the solution to those problems.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. You find a pain point in the marketplace, and you come up with solutions to solve it much better than the existing competitors in the marketplace. That's really what entrepreneurship. That's
That's
how it
all it
was
is.
born. That's how entrepreneurship was born. Because most of you may have realized that, during the pandemic, there's so many things we didn't have available to us. We couldn't do certain things. Certain folks had to stay home, so they couldn't work. So people were very creative during that time, man. They came up with a lot of inventions, and it's the same thing for an entrepreneur. You've got the invention to check out, and to also make money on the idea.
Right, exactly. And yeah, and that's yeah, that's the secret, man. Just, the pain points. The pain
Yeah,
points. Just
find
addressing the
find the
pain
pain
points.
point. Yeah.
And I tell everyone, I don't know if you guys know that, Maria, and well, Maria probably does, because I've spoken about this many times when I was
Yeah.
with new, is that I teach young people how to be entrepreneurs. And one of the things I'm always telling them is, uh, address, just look around you. The
Yeah.
pain points are so obvious
It's right
today.
in front of your faces, man. Right in front of your faces.
Right in front of your faces. You don't even have to look far. Just recognize a pain point and figure out how you are going to be able to solve that problem uniquely, right? Fill that niche
To make
uniquely,
people's lives easier.
and making their lives easier, doing something that someone else is not having thought of, and you're the one that's thinking of it. So I always tell young people when I'm bringing them into my program is, I want you, like, I'm starting interviewing kids for the fall program that we're
Right.
going to be launching on October 5th.
Hmm.
I tell them, from the from today, if we're talking today, I need you to open up your eyes and start looking at the world like an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Looking everything you see that could be potentially a pain point or a problem, or there's a lack, how you can fill that need with a solution. So, and sometimes it's not that difficult to do that.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Sometimes it's not that difficult to do that. You just recognize it, and it's really easy to make that happen. So,
I don't remember the name of the gentleman who invented the traffic light,
uh-huh.
but it was during the 1800s when, after slavery was abolished. Now, black folks were trying to live, so they identify certain neighborhoods to live in. Their houses weren't as strong and beautiful as, the other side, but they did the best they could. So they used to have their little kids playing out in the front yard, as little kids do. They're
Mm-hmm.
playing in the front yards, running around, and sometimes they'll run out into the street. And the folks from the other side would always come speeding through those neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And, oftentimes they would hit a kid or they would kill a kid
Mm.
by just driving through that neighborhood. So, the people in the community, they were sick of it. They were sick of, these folks are just driving through this community without any care. They're killing our kids. They're doing all of these different things.
Mm-hmm.
So the manufacturer of some of those cars, they said, well, because people would complain and they go, they complain too much. They just need to keep their kids at home.
Right.
So keep them
Yeah,
at home, not on the
that's the
street.
solution.
Yeah. so so many of the people in the community, like everywhere we go, we've got community advocates.
Right,
So some of
exactly.
the advocates and parents, that would get together and say, how can we stop this problem? So the first thing they did, they put speed bumps in the neighborhood to slow down the vehicles when they were speeding through those black neighborhoods, because they really didn't care about the blacks. They would do anything they could to hurt the blacks because they were pissed off that slavery ended, and that machine, that money making machine they had, they didn't have to pay for labor. It was free labor, and they're
Wow.
making millions of dollars. They're going, man. And that's part of why the Civil War started, because the North was fighting against the South. They're saying, hey, you know, recognize human rights. What do you mean? You can't put putting people in slavery. And then the South was saying, no, they're our money making machine. They're here
Right.
to make us rich and wealthy. So during that time is when people were driving through these neighborhoods, killing the kids. Right? They
Mm.
put the speed bumps, but that didn't slow them down. So
Mm.
so that's when the folks came together with uh the city councils and other government officials and said, hey, we would like to put traffic lights in the area, so the vehicles have to stop, and based on these traffic codes, they're supposed to abide by these codes, because those codes are state laws. They have to go by it.
Right.
So reluctantly, the city government agreed to have traffic light installed. But even though the lights were installed, people were still speeding through, and sometimes they would run the light, and when they run the light, they will hit a kid or hit an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that got invented, the traffic light, out of necessity. There was a need to solve that pain in the community. Kids and other family members were dying. So they said, hey, let's come up with this traffic light to curtail or slow down the death of our people. So that was one. Of course, we got the ironing board. We've got, Madam CJ Walker
But
and
what that is what you just said, the necessity, right?
yeah,
Identifying a necessity.
yes,
Um, you know, Warren Buffett is my guru when it comes to being in business, right?
yeah,
He wasn't one that had to go find something elaborate to sell or to invest his money in.
yeah,
He invested his money in everyday products and services that everyone will use,
yeah.
run out of, and have to replenish. That's
Wow.
really all he did, right? Paper
Yeah.
towel, Good Housekeeping, General E. I think it's the Good Housekeeping product line. Your tissue paper, your toilet paper, your paper towels, your
Yeah.
plastic forks and knives, because those are things that people do every single use every day, and they have to be
Hmm.
replenished. So
Yes.
that it doesn't have to be, we don't have to be rocket scientists to be in business.
No.
We just have to find a business idea or concept
Yeah.
that people and that you're solving that person's pain point. That is the key and to success as business owners.
And that's how you and I got started in business, because there was a pain point, there was a necessity, there was a need.
Yep.
When you started because you you are working for the man, and
Yeah.
you realize that, hey man, It's
I
like,
can't work for you,
I
man.
can't work for you anymore, man. I could save you some time though. Because the time that many of us work here, we're really burning some time and you're not getting paid for that. So,
Exactly. You found well, a couple of things. One, I didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur, but I knew I was going to have my own business, right? So that's just part of the DNA. But I am, yeah. But here's actually, I was one of those with my eyes open as an entrepreneur,
yeah,
and so back in again telling my age, but in the '90s, remember when in the '90s, not every household had a computer, right?
right.
It wasn't like early when the computer '80s, late '80s, and the beginning of the '90s that people computers were introduced into the workforce, right?
Yeah.
So I had just gotten out of college, and I was working at companies that had computers. In fact, my very first job was data. I did data entry. For a respiration company that made respirators, and I was in the data room. And this is when they had the big mainframes, and the room was
Yeah.
super freezy because they had to keep the computer
Right.
mainframes cool. And we'd be in there putting in the loading in the QR codes or the SKU codes for the
Yeah.
products that this company created, right?
Right. Right.
And so and I'm back there just flying on my. I was doing like 110 strokes a minute, and then I started moving to from there. That's my first job in the workforce.
Yeah.
That wasn't a service based job, right? Food based
Right.
job, and then I started working for a company, and we got computers, and of course you get trained, right? You get
Uh-huh.
trained in that, and um, so that was what was happening. And but people did not, when they were able to start being able to afford their their own computers,
Yeah.
then at that point they didn't know how to use them, right? Because computers in the very beginning was already set up. All you had to do was come in, log in until you with your password, and the IT department did everything for you. But when
Right.
you left the job, you didn't know how to use them. So that was my really first gig, man, was teaching people how to use floppies, how to turn the computer on, how to upload information. That's how I got started. I was filling a pain point.
So so you were learning like a unique kind of way then, huh?
Yeah, I was learning. As I was learning, I was teaching. I was being I was being paid to learn. I was being learned to paid and trained at company, and I took the information that I had, and people started saying, "Hey, I don't know how to turn on my computer. I just bought a computer and I don't know how to turn it on. I got one, but I don't know what to do with it." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I can teach you how to do that." So that's how I got started in business. And then it evolved into um, the accounting and bookkeeping and so forth and so on. Because again, it's about instruction. So that's kind of how I got started. Again, meeting needs in the marketplace.
Great. That is great. That is
I can't hear you. So
Oh, you can't hear me?
uh
Oh Lord.
so but everyone,
Can you hear me now?
a little bit. What happened? Maybe it's me. Did I lose you? No, I can. You can hear me though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay, beautiful. I just turned up the
Yeah.
volume too.
Yeah. So that's kind of what how I got started. But again, and since that time, my business has evolved several times, just out there finding a need and filling it. And I'm
So
sure you've done the same thing.
so I got one of my business associates here with me in the studio.
Okay.
So
All righty.
so she's looking and checking out the podcast, the show, and she's learning a little something also. So yeah.
Okay. Well,
So can you see, Lily? There she. Oh, can you see her?
Yeah, I can see her.
There.
Hello, how are you?
We met before.
Yes, we have. I think we broke bread together, haven't we?
Yeah.
We did. Yes,
Yeah.
we did. It was really nice. It's good to see
Right.
you.
You as well. So, yeah, it's good to see you. You're looking great.
Oh, thank you. Sideways.
Okay. Right.
So in my case, co-host, I was working for the man, and the man was being horrible to me.
Yeah.
So so I said, you know what? Enough of this. And I know there's a lot of small businesses out there who needed my help, because that's when I was running the boot camp for LAUSD.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I can work with these businesses more directly, much better. So I decided to start my own business then. So I was doing it simultaneously while working for LAUSD. I was helping small businesses. And then one day they called me in and said, "Hey, we don't need you anymore." So I said, "Okay," because I expected it,
Oh, okay.
I expected it, because uh, when you work for the man, there's a certain culture that goes with that. People that feel entitled, and they feel like, they're on top of the world, and certain people don't belong in that world with them. So they probably thought I was one of them. So they say, "Oh, get out," So they kicked me out of there. So I said, "Hey, not a problem." I have my small businesses who rely on me. So that's how I started. There was a pain point in the marketplace. I realized that small businesses didn't know how to bid on government public works contracts. So
Ah,
I said, I'm gonna, and with my knowledge, working at LAUSD, doing bid kickoff meetings and post award meetings and certifications for these businesses, and running those boot camps. I said, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing. So then that's how I got started. And yeah, exactly. Andrea said, never give up mindset. Yeah, I have that never give up mindset, So I decided to start helping those businesses, working. Of course, I wasn't making the kind of money I was making when I was working for the man. Because
right.
most entrepreneurs, when you start your business, you don't make the same kind of money that you make when you were working for the man.
No, you don't.
You see what
Well,
I'm
no,
saying?
well, the goal is not to leave the man until you are making that the same kind of money that you're making for the
Exactly.
man, and
No,
that you can take care of your benefits, right? That's the goal.
that's the goal. But when the man pushes you out before, because the man realizes that you were doing some things that could help the small business population much better, then they say, we don't want you as a competition. You gotta go.
You
So
gotta
they
go.
so they kick it to the curb. So that's what they did to me. So I was working really hard, like Brandon said earlier about working hard. I was working
Hmm.
really hard to help those small businesses until I start getting contracts, utilizing my skills to get contracts. So that's how that got started. So I saw a pain in the marketplace, just like you saw a pain. And many of the women who, during the pandemic, they saw a pain too, because they're going, I'm not going back to work. I'm not going back to that place.
Right, exactly.
Because some women, they were having their hours cut because of the pandemic. They're going, I'm
And
gonna
even
leave.
after the pandemic, some men, and when they realized that they wanted to work remotely,
Yeah,
that it gave them a more of a life
yeah,
to be able to take care of their children and not be under
right.
and so much stress working,
Oh yeah,
trying to get to jobs and come and then get home and take care of your children.
right.
Then some of them also found out that there was a niche that was laid open for them,
Yeah.
because their owners didn't want them to work remotely anymore, and they love that freedom, right?
Oh,
I
they
mean,
loved it. They loved it. And the statistics show that 60% of women in the workforce, they decided not to go back. They said, I'm not going back to work for those people. Because think about it. As a woman, think about it. You got a family, you got your husband, or you may have a boyfriend or whatever, right?
mm-hmm.
that person is supposed to be your provider, your supporter, that type of thing. But
Right.
instead, the man at the workplace is trying to treat you like a slave, telling you what to do and
Right.
when to do it, telling you when to come in, how many hours you got to work. You got to work through lunch sometimes. You got to work overtime and not being compensated.
Right.
So a lot of women look at that and go, hey, I got a man at home. Why am I listening to this other man at work? You see what I'm saying? They go, and he's not even my husband or boyfriend. I'm not going back there. And this man at home is my provider. He's going to take care of me. He's going to protect me, while the man at work is not going to protect me. Because many women were even working in horrible conditions. I remember when I was working at this manufacturing facility upstate New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, oh, what happened just now?
I don't know what happened. It just kicked out and went somewhere else.
I noticed it was saying a countdown. You know how we count down when it's gonna
Right,
make
it just did it on its own. I don't
that's
know
what it is.
technology.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't know this, today is Friday the 13th.
Oh Lord, I forgot. I forgot.
So little interesting things have been going on. Like the chat all of a sudden disappeared and then it came back.
Lord.
And then just now that came up. It's like, okay, what is happening?
So
Yeah,
Andrea said next level 24/7.
Right.
I guess she was referring to the fact that women were working longer hours.
Right, exactly.
And then L Cool J.
So we went on a commercial break. That's what we did, LJ. We went on a 30-second commercial break, not on our own accord.
It was forced, El Gujay. Well, it was forced. We never abandon our small businesses.
But what you're saying is absolutely right, Gilbert. Sometimes it's just very hard and sometimes what I think, and I tell my clients this all the time. Sometimes I have clients that really truly want to be on their own. They want to be out there doing business themselves, but fear keeps them from doing that.
Right.
But one of the things that I know, if you have a destiny to be great and sometimes you have to jump off that cliff in order to get there. Right. And if you hesitate, but you are destined to be in that space, sometimes the universe has to force you out, right?
Yeah.
Because
they forced me out.
Right. So some people will not leave. Some people will be, comfortable, because a lot of times we want comfort versus pain. And we do know starting your own business can bring pain but
and
if
scary.
That's your
could be scary.
It's scary.
Yeah.
But if that's your destiny, I am a strong believer that the universe is going to put you in the right place at the right time. Yeah. And if you need to have a little shove to get there, then the little shove was there. And so sometimes when you're working at companies and it started out, you had this wonderful love affair, and then all of a sudden that love affair became into the worst marriage of the divorce of the roses, or remember that movie, the War of the Roses?
War of the Roses.
Right. And it's telling you it's time to leave, but you're too afraid to leave because you're comfortable with the status quo. So sometimes it just has to get really bad for you to get the heck
out. Maria said she loved hearing your entrepreneurship stories. She said, through your sharing, I'm identifying new opportunities for my consulting business. You're awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Maria. And I'm going to extend this to Maria and Andrea, and as well as
Brandon,
and if you guys would want to be a guest on our show, we'd love to have you. I'll put our information, contact information in the chat, and I will send you over the sign-up information. In addition to the classes in session, which we try to do once a month or twice a month, we love to interview people. We love to have you come on. It's like sitting in our living room, just having a good chat about your business. Is excellent marketing for your business. And then because we on a goal we got our 1,000 subscribers. Now we got to get the views up. I put a lot of time and energy in marketing the show so that people can see you and come out and visit your business. So
That's true.
if you guys are interested, put the information in the chat, Gilbert, and then we will respond to that and send you the information in order to come on the show. So we're looking for guests for the last couple of weeks of the month, and a couple of weeks of the month, and then on into October. So we'd love to have you.
They can just go on there and just go ahead and reserve a space. Whether it's next week, week after.
Right. So I'm gonna here's the information for the business zone.
Yes. And also, folks, those of you who are watching right now, please just go to YouTube and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Maria, Andrea.
She's already a subscriber. I think that Brandon and Maria are already subscribers.
And
so
LJ.
Yeah, going over there.
Right.
We're gonna close out the show, but before we do, I want to. This is a PSA message. We are about 50 days or less from the election. And it's so important as entrepreneurs that you go out there and vote. Tell all your friends, grab your young people and take them with them. There are a lot of organizations out there that are doing education on what's on the ballot. Understand that we're voting for democracy. And if any of you from countries that you didn't have that freedom in your country and know that that's where we are today, this is vitally important for us to understand what we're voting for. So it's not necessarily, it is about whether we're voting for Kamala or that other person. But most importantly, that other person is going to take away the democracy and the freedom that we have in this country. So very important for you to get to the polls. If you haven't registered, go on to I think it's voting.gov. LAvote.gov and
LA
register.
Yeah.
On the LA County website. It's so important that you do that. You can register all up to the day of the election. If you're looking for,
we don't want them to wait until that day. We
right.
To do it before, because if they register the day of the election, then they're probably gonna have to wait for their cards and all of that, which will come after the election.
Yeah, so we want you to go. So it's LAvote.com. So important. We're voting for .gov. We are voting for democracy. That's one thing. So voting for that, but as well is what we need you to do is understand we also have to vote down ballot. If for those of you, we're not telling you who to vote for, but if for those of you like myself that is voting for, that is interested in having Kamala Harris as our first as our president for many reasons. She can't do her job if she doesn't have the support of Congress, the Senate, House of Reps. So we have to have a balance of power. It is so important that we do that, guys. Our lives, our children's lives are hanging in the balance here. There is a lot of decisiveness. If you go to some of our shows that we did in the late part of August and the first part of in August on Project 2025, definitely dangerous for all of us. We will do more shows on that. Next week, we probably will do another show on Project 25. That 952-page document is literally.
We definitely will.
Yeah, we'll take away. So that's very, very important that we need to be doing. So you can vote in person. If you have elderly people, they can actually do everything online here. And this is what we have to understand. Here in the United States of America, we in California, let me put it that way, our voting is not compromised at all. But however, in other states, and cities in this United States, they have made it impossible for many of them to vote. And so recognize the value and the importance of your vote. Your vote counts. It is important that we all exercise a vote that many of our ancestors fought hard for, and we don't want to not be able to take advantage of that. So um, that's our soapbox today. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys, for those of you that have young children, I'm going to share my screen real quick. Tomorrow, my organization, my tennis organization, we're having there we go, a family fitness day and family health, nutrition, and fitness day. And what we're doing is we're bringing out the Cedars health coach, and as well as the Colgate dental coach, and we're providing free health screenings for children and families tomorrow at Harvard Park, which is at in Los Angeles, and it's at 1535 West 62nd Street in Los Angeles. And we want you to come out. You can come out and get free health screenings, dental screenings. It's going to be a fantastic day. So it's tomorrow at 9:45 to 12 o'clock. So please come on out if you're in Los Angeles and you have young people or you have people in your neighborhood that don't have access to health insurance, and have not had the screenings and things that they need. We'd love to have you. So that's the whole flyer. We're doing dental checks. We're doing health screening. If you need free COVID vaccinations or boosters, and then the kids are going to be playing tennis. So that's the fitness part. We have some fitness coaches out there that will talk about the importance of staying healthy. And then we'll talk about healthy food, healthy eating. So it's going to be a great day tomorrow. So please come out and visit us tomorrow at Harvard Park, Jackie Tatum Harvard Park. And it's at 62nd and Halldale in South Los Angeles. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Take advantage of all those offerings that are out there, because you never know, guys.
Excellent.
All righty.
Excellent. So our favorite entrepreneur from Las Vegas says, "Hi friends, how are you doing today?" Andrea V. Hill. Andrea, how are you today?
Hi, Andrea. Nice to see you. Hope all is going well.
You know we love you. Thank you for reaching out to us and watching our show. I appreciate that. I know you got some good news for us, right?
And Andrea gave us some insight on who that person was that created the patent, the traffic light.
Was Garrett Morgan.
This has been a very informative show, everyone.
Andrea, I will never forget this. It was on my list of black inventors, but I didn't have it in front of me. So thank you, Andrea James, for reminding us who that gentleman was that invented a traffic light. So it is Mr. Garrett Morgan. Thank you.
He did a lot of patents. So always got to insert history into our community, into our platform, so that everyone knows how we uplift each other. So with that, guys, we're going to sign off. We want to thank you so much for spending the afternoon with us, and come on back next week. At 3 o'clock, same time, same bat channel, and tell a friend. And please go over there and share this show on your platforms, so that we can now, our second milestone is getting to our 4,000 views. So share it with them, tell them at least 3 minutes. We at least should be able to hold their attention for 3 minutes.
And please tell your friends, your family, your grandparents, go subscribe to The Business Zone. It's an amazing show, very informative. It helps entrepreneurs, help Latino entrepreneurs. It helps other minority entrepreneurs as well. But today we're focused on the Latinos. So I just want to make sure all of you guys reach out. Andrea, you got the memo. You got the memo, I see. So you're responding. So I gotta run, guys. I gotta run right now because I gotta go take care of some business. But tune into the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30. And don't forget to subscribe so we can get to our 4,000 membership milestone. And you guys are going to get a lot of gifts from us, whether it's consulting time, whether it's templates on capability statement, business plan, whatever it is, guys. Reach out to us. Our contact information is in the chat. Co-host, you have anything else to say before we jump out of here?
No, we're gonna jump off and let you go. But Brandon said he scored 90% on your test on SmallBizPro.
Oh, you did take it, man! Brandon, you are the man. Hey, you know what? For that, Brandon, I want you to call me. My phone number is in the chat. Okay, I want you to call me, and I'll do a free consulting with you. All right. Call me so we can go over. He said 99%?
Yes.
That
90%. 90%.
That is rare, Brandon. So you got some rare kind of talents there, which I really like and appreciate. So we'll work on getting you that extra 10% so that you can be 100% ready. Okay?
Awesome. That's fine. I'm gonna give you all a clap, 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 a snap on that. And Andrea says, William Potts developed several automatic traffic light systems. So he went on to this one and took the patent and moved on. So thank you guys for the historical lessons. And with that, we're gonna sign off. Have a fantastic weekend.
Andrea is gonna become our new best friend on the Business Zone.
Yeah, our roaming historian.
So you got a lot of stats, and I love that. I love
stats. So come back and be our historian, our roaming historian. We love that. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Friday.
And stay safe. It's Friday the 13th. Stay safe. Okay.
Right, exactly.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.